Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News, an Indian perspective on All India Radio. This is Renuka bringing glimpses of major developments of the day from across the globe. The headlines. New Delhi slams move by Islamabad to hold elections in Gilgit-Baltistan says Islamabad has no locus standi on territories illegally occupied by it. India rejects China's unilaterally defined 1959 interpretation of LAC. Foreign ministers of India and Bangladesh discuss wide range of issues to strengthen bilateral ties. WHO plans to roll out 120 million rapid COVID-19 diagnostic kits to low and middle-income countries in next 6 months. India, US, Australia and Japan to discuss boosting cooperation in the Indo-Pacific region in Tokyo on October 6. Post-Brexit round of talks between the UK and EU begin in Brussels. India has protested the announcement of elections to Gilgit-Baltistan Legislative Assembly by Pakistan. External Affairs Ministry of India on Tuesday reiterated that Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, including the areas of Gilgit and Baltistan, are an integral part of India. It said Pakistan government has no locus standi on territories illegally and forcibly occupied by it. New Delhi has also completely rejected recent actions such as the Gilgit-Baltistan Amendment Order 2020. It has slammed continued attempts by the Pakistan establishments to bring material changes in areas under its illegal and forcible occupation. India said that such actions can neither hide the illegal occupation of parts of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh by Pakistan. The move is a ploy by Islamabad to cover up its grave human rights violations, exploitation and denial of freedom to the people in Pak-occupied territories over the past 7 decades. India has called upon Pakistan to immediately vacate all areas under its illegal occupation. India has said that victims of 2008 Mumbai terror attack and 2016 Pathankot terror attack are yet to get justice due to unwillingness and non-cooperative attitude of a particular country. India's representative Vijay Thakur Singh made this statement at second ministerial meeting of the Group of Friends of Victims of Terrorism, which took place virtually on September 28. She called for redressing deficiencies in the international efforts to ensure that perpetrators of terrorism are brought to justice. India on Tuesday rejected China's 1959 perception of the Line of Actual Control (LAC). It has asked the neighbouring countries to refrain from advancing an untenable unilateral interpretation of the de facto border. Responding to a query on a media report quoting a Chinese Foreign Ministry statement regarding China's position on the LAC, Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Anurag Srivastava said India has never accepted the so-called unilaterally defined 1959 Line of Actual Control (LAC), and this position has been consistent and well known, including to the Chinese side. Mr. Srivastava said the two sides had engaged in an exercise to clarify and confirm the LAC up to 2003, but this process could not proceed further as the Chinese side did not show a willingness to pursue it. Referring to Indian Defence Minister's recent address to Parliament, Mr. Srivastava said it is the Chinese side which, by its attempts to transgress the LAC in various parts of the western sector, and has tried to unilaterally alter the status quo. The spokesperson said India expects that the Chinese side will sincerely and faithfully abide by all agreements and understandings in their entirety. Meanwhile, China's doublespeak again came to the fore when it opposed India's infrastructure development in the border area, even as it accepted that China has been conducting activities in the LAC area for a long time. India and Bangladesh held the 6th round of the Joint Consultative Commission meeting today. The virtual meeting was co-chaired by the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and the Foreign Minister of Bangladesh Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen. A report on the meeting from our special correspondent in Dhaka.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar announced today that a summit-level meeting between the Prime Ministers of India and Bangladesh will be held in December this year. After the conclusion of the Joint Consultative Commission meeting, Dr. S. Jaishankar said in a tweet that India and Bangladesh reviewed the expanding connectivity in road, rail, inland waterways and ports. They also agreed to expedite progress in ongoing projects. Both sides agreed to take forward the cooperation in the energy sector, including the third-party projects. Rajesh Jha for AIR News, Dhaka.
This is All India Radio giving you the world news. The foreign ministers of the 4 member nations of the Quad will hold talks in Tokyo on 6th October to further boost their cooperation in the Indo-Pacific region. India, Japan, Australia and the US have been coordinating a joint approach on free, open, prosperous and inclusive Indo-Pacific region based on shared values and principles and respect for international law. External Affairs Minister of India, Dr. Jaishankar, will hold bilateral consultations with foreign ministers of other members of the Quad on the sidelines of the meeting. The 4th edition of India-Japan Maritime Bilateral Exercise (JIMEX) between the Indian Navy and Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force completed on Monday. It was held in the North Arabian Sea from September 26 to September 28. Navies of both the countries undertook anti-air and anti-submarine warfare exercises, weapon firings, tracking and tactical maneuvers. JIMEX 20 will further enhance the cooperation and mutual confidence between the two navies and fortify the long-standing bond of friendship between the two countries. The United Kingdom and the European Union began the 9th and final round of talks on a post-Brexit free trade treaty in Brussels. Speaking to media, EU Commission Vice President Maroš Šefčovič on Monday warned that EU would use the legal mechanisms within the Brexit agreement if the UK does not remove the clauses in the internal market bill that violate both the treaty and international law. Meanwhile, UK Brexit Minister Michael Gove said that the government will not back down and would continue seeking the passage of the controversial bill in Parliament. Now, let's take a look at the coronavirus updates from around the world. According to the WHO data, the number of infected cases has crossed 33.03 million worldwide. In India, number of patients recovered from COVID-19 crossed 5.1 million, while recovery rate improved to 83.01%. The World Health Organization has announced that the world body and its leading partners have agreed to a plan to roll out 120 million rapid diagnostic tests for the coronavirus. The program aims to help lower and middle income countries make up ground in a testing gap with richer countries, even if it's not fully found yet.
A substantial proportion of these rapid tests, 120 million, will be made available to low and middle income countries. These tests provide reliable results in approximately 15 to 30 minutes, rather than hours or days, at a lower price with less sophisticated equipment.
Meanwhile, United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed appealed countries to fill the gap of $35 billion in order to meet the global goals of COVID-19 vaccine production, treatments and tests.
While we see that there has been some commitment from the 38 billion that is required to get this vaccine across, we are still looking at a funding gap of 35 billion. So we hope that at the meeting we have on Wednesday on the ACT Accelerator, that will be for the first time really looking to see what the moving parts are of the ACT Accelerator, where the gaps are and how we can address filling the funding gap on the COVAX facility.
Moving on to sports. In Indian Premier League cricket, Sunrisers Hyderabad sets a target of 162 runs for 4 wickets against Delhi Capitals. In its reply, Delhi Capitals has scored 60 for 2 wickets in 11 overs as per the latest updates. India is celebrating the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Before we end, let us listen to Vaishnava Jan by artists from Uganda.
Vaishnava Jana to tene kahiye je iru karai jane re par dukhe upkhar khare to ye man abhiman na re Vaishnava Jana to.
And with that, we end this bulletin. See you at same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.